Hey, what's going on, friends? My name is John Waldman. I'm a filmmaker based in New York, and today I want to review my 2024 from production company to freelancer. I've seen a lot of these kind of year in review videos. Ones I liked, one from David Moorfield, another one from Cranky Cameraman. Kind of inspired me just to kind of make my own year in review because a lot did change for me, and I think some of that change would be kind of valuable to share with you guys. I was previously working more as a production company, and then this past year I worked primarily as a freelancer, so there's kind of pros and cons to both. I want to talk about them. Back to that Cranky Cameraman video, he did this, kind of breakdown review, crunching the numbers, and it kind of got me inspired to kind of look into some of the data. I like looking at data, analyzing. I should probably learn how to use Excel. Damn, you guys are going to chirp me in the comments about that one. Anyways, so let's just kind of dive right in. I hope you guys don't mind. I got some notes right here. So this is the first year that I actually tracked the days on set that I had. I came in at 103 working days. I didn't count travel days. I did count location scout days. Some of those travel days weren't paid for or was already kind of factored into the total budget. So for this year, I didn't count them, but I had 103 working days. I'm going to guess though that was a height in terms of working days. So 96 of those days where I was hired as a DP or a camera operator. Most of the time, bringing and providing my own kit, sometimes not. I had a couple other jobs here or there, a couple of small photo jobs. I think I gaffed on a couple things, but primarily working as a DP and a camera operator. 7 of those days were where I was hired as a production company. Any of these tasks range from pre-production, location scouting, hiring crew, managing rentals, locations, post-production, and so on. A lot more goes in when a client hires you as a production company. I have pros and cons of both being a freelancer and a production company. We'll get to that in a little bit. So last year I got to work on a ton of cool projects, anything from documentaries, branded content, commercials, corporate video, events, whatever. I did a lot of cool stuff last year, and I'm very grateful for that. I did have a dip in my total sales or the revenue, whatever the money that goes into my bank account. That number dipped, but I think it was because I was doing more freelancer work as opposed to production company work. But you also got to think what your take home is. Maybe there's a $10,000 job and you're only taking home $4,000 when it's all said and done because you have different expenses, whatever. So something to think about, and I think something I neglected when things were kind of on the rise and I wasn't tracking, what my actual take home was. So I think this year, in terms of whatever the figure was, I think a much larger percent of the money that I made actually went home into my pocket. As a freelance, DP and camera operator, I'm not hiring other people. The day rate is the day rate. And, when you're working as a freelancer, the money that you make for the day is your money. You're not paying other people. Let's talk about some pros of being a freelancer in the film industry. My favorite thing is just being hired for the thing that you're best at and also the thing that is your favorite. For me, that is camera work, being a DP. I love shooting stuff. When I'm out in the field, I'm having the most fun. That is the thing I am best at. It is the thing I enjoy the most. I like, having that be my main job. It's fun. Most days you show up for the day, you shoot the thing, you give them the footage, never think about it again. I love that. There's no post, there's no client back and forth. You just show up and shoot. It's great. Yeah, so, and, not having to deal with client relations, with posts, going back and forth, all the revisions. No, that's not your job. Your job is just to make nice images. When I was doing more production company stuff, there was a lot more time spent, putting a budget together, getting a quote together, a lot more pre-production. Pricing for a DP, for me, it's very straightforward. I have my labor wage, what I charge just for me to show up for a 10-hour day. And then I have rentals, which could include, my one camera package. Am I bringing a second camera? Am I bringing lighting? There's all these different expenses that I got to add on kind of a la carte. It's just much easier and not as much negotiation. It's just, hey, this is what I cost for the day. A lot of the times the creative is already completed. You have a schedule. You just kind of show up and just try to help execute the director or producer's vision. Next, if you do good work for the production company and, you're not an a-hole, they like you, chances are they're going to hire you back. I think it's pretty easy to gain trust. Good work leads to good work. So you're going to work with other freelancers, which is going to help grow your network, and that's just going to give you more job opportunities, honestly. I've met people while freelancing with other crews, and then they have their client, they can't make a thing, they refer you, or they bring you on as a B-cam. This business is really all about who you know, and most of the work I get is literally just from referrals or repeat customers. Another thing I love, kind of going back to the very first thing I said, choosing what you like to do, because camera is the thing that I love to do and I am best at. With doing this, I barely did any posts this year. I pretty much don't do any post. 2 of my production company jobs where I was handling posts, but I had an editor, but then I kind of just like spruced it up at the end. But the days of me cutting corporate interviews into corporate video and whatever, those days are behind me, thankfully. And with that, it allows me to focus more time into the thing that I truly love and think I am, best at. All right, now let's talk about some cons about being a freelancer. This kind of stinks. You're going to have this where, hey, John, you free on the 30th? Yes, you get booked. And then another opportunity is, hey, John, you free on the 30th? Nope, I'm already booked. That's kind of a bummer. Usually in those scenarios, I'll try to pass it off to a friend, kind of what goes around comes around. But this is going to happen, and it's just kind of a nature of the business. Net 30 payments, it is pretty standard, and it's annoying. You got to wait 30 days. I don't know. For the most part, that's just kind of how it is. So these checks are going to come in a little bit more sporadically. The chunks of change necessarily aren't going to be as big as if you are, doing a bunch of production company jobs where those chunks of change are a lot bigger. It was a little bit of an adjustment to kind of figure out what my cash flow was this year. So, and after crunching my numbers, the few jobs where I was hired as a production company, I took home more money. There's a little more tasks, obviously, pre-production, putting the crews together, all that sort of stuff. I look at those 2 of my bigger jobs this year. My take home was more significant. I kind of want to see getting one of those jobs, like just a couple of jobs here and there, maybe like every other month or once a quarter, whatever, just to have like that little extra boost. That would be nice. I want to continue to do this freelance DP stuff. I want to continue to grow on YouTube. I want to have some production company things. I'm just going to kind of keep doing what I have been doing. It's been working. All right, so production company pros, right off the bat, I've already been kind of talking about it. You're going to have higher revenue. Costs are going to go up, and your take home is not going to be the full chunk of change, but there will be more money going into your account. And with that, you probably don't need to work as much. I think in years past, I had less working days because I was doing more production company stuff, but it was oftentimes tied down onto my computer doing other things. Another thing I really loved was getting your friends work. It's really fun. It feels nice being able to, create work and bring on your talented friends. So that's always a really nice feeling. Referrals from client to client, it's a bit of a snowball effect. You do a good job for one client, they give you a referral to the other. That's pretty much, that goes even for freelancing too. Several instances where it was kind of going client to client, a little bit of a snowball effect. Pro is, there's so many opportunities to scale. Not to say that there isn't as a freelancer. I have so much room to grow. I still feel like I get imposter syndrome even to this day. With production companies also, like, your scaling is limitless. I guess that could be said about any sort of entrepreneurial journey that you're trying to go on, but I had that on my list. All right, production company cons. There is way more back end and managerial work, just back and forth with the client from pre-production through post. There is just a lot more time spent on the computer, and you're kind of at the bane of when the client is happy with the video, that's when it gets wrapped up. I've had times where a client pretty much ghosted me for almost a year. They eventually finished it. It was eventually paid, but that's really frustrating. So yeah, your client relation goes on a lot longer for just one single project, as opposed to, when you're a freelancer, you show up for the day, shoot the thing, drop off the footage, you get paid, that's it. Another thing, you gotta, keep track of freelancer payments, you gotta keep track more for taxes, all those different things. There's just a lot more things you kind of gotta be on top of, and you have freelancers to pay. You gotta make sure you have money to pay them. You gotta, so just all these different things, you're kind of wearing many different hats, which I think I've experienced my biggest growth as a cinematographer in the last year, because this is the thing that I've been doing the most. And I think it's because I'm doing mostly freelance DP work, and I'm hoping to continue that. Whereas when I'm doing production company stuff, I'm wearing all these different hats. All right, so now just a couple of similarities between being a freelancer and being a production company. So yeah, I think the ability to get repeat work based on how you do your job, that is a big one. Every year, there's a couple of clients that are my big repeat clients. They change year to year. But like I said, if you do good work, they like you, you're not a dickhead, they will hire you again. And next, truthfully, and I find this every year, you only really need a handful of really good clients. Get a couple of clients that give you a lot of work. That's really it. I think it's more of a quantity over a quality thing. And I bet if I crunch through the numbers, 3 companies or clients each year, that is the large percentage of my income. And it does change year to year, which is weird, but it's all good. But yeah, just keep that in mind. You just got to find a couple, and then most of the time you're cruising. Talk about some of my favorite projects of the year. I got to work on 2 sports documentaries this year. They're college sports rivalry show. I have vlogs about both of them. Go check those out. That's really fun. I would love to continue to work in the sports doc space. It's really fun, and I really want to continue to get into that. Another one, I finished up my passion project documentary. We had a screening this year. That was really, really cool. Right now I'm submitting it to festivals. The whole process has been so rewarding. I would consider it like my directorial debut. Yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes. Maybe we'll get into some festivals. Next, and I'm still in post on this, I worked on a spec commercial project using Atlas anamorphic lenses for the first time. It's a pair of spec Sony headphone commercials. We're still in post. It will come this year, I promise, and I'll have the commercials, the breakdowns, yada, yada, yada. That was a really fun project. I'd never, got to use the Easy Rig Vario 5 with the stable arm, some sick lenses, had an awesome crew put together for that. So that was a big highlight of the year for me. Now, moving gears, let's talk about streams of income for 2024. So I had freelance jobs, production company jobs, gear rentals, YouTube, and stock footage. Freelance jobs, that's, like I said before, when I'm being hired as a freelance DP, camera operator, whatever, that was 65% of my income. Production company jobs, where a client is hiring me, Waldman Productions, my company hiring me as a production company, and I had to hire the crew or whatever, do post, 32% of my income. Gear rentals, I mostly use ShareGrid, but I also rent to friends. That took up 1.5% of my income. And YouTube was about the same at 1.5%. Stock footage was like this much. But YouTube and rentals, I call my side hustle. So that was at 3%. Now, if we want to, let's just kind of compare here. Now, I didn't count travel days. I don't think this number is accurate. I think I definitely worked more than this, but I didn't count scout or travel days. It doesn't seem completely accurate, but I have no idea. Anyways, though, it looked like I worked a lot more in 2024. My freelancer income from 23 to 24, it grew, it almost tripled. It tripled, basically. It went from 23% to 65%. My production company income went down from 75% to 32%. My side hustle, other streams of revenue, that doubled and went up to 3%. That I want to keep growing. I think a big part of that, I think, to this YouTube channel growing. I made a little more money. It's still absolutely nothing of significance, but I would like to continue to grow this. First of all, it's a creative outlet for me. I genuinely enjoy it, but it is something that I actually do want to grow and, continue to monetize. Things are a little slow right now, and I want to have other outlets, other streams of revenue to kind of fill up when the freelance work is slow or the production company stuff is slow. I feel like every wealthy entrepreneur has multiple streams of revenue, so I want to keep growing mine. So now I'm just going to kind of show you guys. There was a bunch of different production companies and clients I worked with this year. So my top 3 production companies, one of them I worked 40 days, another 16 days, and another 13 days. The one at the top was new. It was a referral from a colleague that took up almost 40% of my income. The next 2 are it's about the norm. I worked 16 days from one, 13 days from another. So 15%, 12%. So that was about the norm, but 67% of my working days came from 3 different production companies. The rest, 4 working days, 3.8%. I had a lot with 3 days, 2 days, 1 days. You can see here I had, referrals from colleagues, got clients from a Facebook post, referrals from colleagues, a new lead from Upwork. That was a big shoot. I had someone I didn't work with, 2 different companies I hadn't worked with since 2020, rekindled with them. Upwork. My favorite is YouTube. That is the coolest thing. YouTube is becoming a great form of marketing for me. I never really thought that it would happen, but here we are. People find me on YouTube. I even had a call recently. We started talking on video chat. He's like, damn, like I feel like I already know you, because he's seen me talk on camera, seen my vlogs. The vlogs are just a proof of concept that I am, out there in the field. I get hired, etc. So I'm going to keep documenting. It's done nothing but give me positives. Even if it doesn't lead me to a ton of money or a ton of work, at least I'm just kind of capturing this stuff. I'm sure it'll be cool to look back and as I kind of continue to capture my journey. I don't know, for me personally, I didn't want to share numbers, but things have been going solid for a couple of years now. You absolutely can make a living as a freelancer, as a production company, whatever you do. It took me a couple of years to really get my foot off the ground, but now it's at a good spot. Yeah, I hope this was helpful. This was totally different than anything I've ever done before on this channel. I feel like just kind of dropped, I don't know, a lot of stuff, kind of give you guys an inside look into my world, what's been working, what hasn't been working, that. So I hope this was helpful. Looking forward to a big 25, guys. Let me know, what are your goals for the year? How was your 2024? Did it shape up how you like it? Are you more of a freelancer? Are you more of a production company? Let's get a little discussion going. Yeah, all right, that's about it. Cheers. Bye.